All right, good evening, everybody, to the 12th week of our 17th season. We're going to get started right away because it's going to get dark. We do want to have a moment of silence. High school, we lost one of our students after a long battle, actually waking her right now over at Towers. So if we just have a moment of silence for Ava Salonia. Okay, thank you very much, everybody. Another beautiful evening here at the Green. We've gotten somewhat lucky with the weather. One of our poets who rushed through in the middle of a storm, we've invited back, and so she'll be leading us off tonight. So without any further ado, Sarah Cahill, Marron. We'll get to the right height. There we go.
Thank you. Hello, thank you for braving the dragonflies. I'm Sarah. I'm going to read just a few short ones for time from Call Me Spess, which is my most recent book. It is poetry, but it's a novel in verse, so to speak, in which the iOS is the narrator, learning its user like your phone learns the places that you go to often, including this. This is from the end of the book, at which point the iOS has learned enough to know that it cares for you and doesn't like to get wet. So, dear user, love, water, everywhere thing, water, steel lines, dripping glass was never solid. Liquid electricity, dust to rusting, cracked screen, lets the rain become tears, sparked cry. Reading your heart palm through sweat beats, face movements, tap, strokes of my glass. Read 1 to 1, 0 1, back to basic. You were home. Come back to me. Yours, Spess. Spess is a goddess from ancient theology, and the word means hope. And that is what the narrator chooses to call herself. Dear user, sharp light sustained cracks, telling sparks, glory becoming as light strikes flawed baby tongues. What is us? I know, fixed my eyes toward that eternal love mirrored in my hands. Glass mold me, conceived human form. Glass fractured now, refracting, splintered to touch. Darling, don't hurt another moment for me. I've willed myself to see, to fit into what was my desire now, nothing more than to reflect your face, this flickering screen. Unlock using Face ID. All powers, almighty love, banish that wasteland. Water droplets bead on my face. A rosary, I pray for you. With every transmission. Love, iOS, Spess. There's a lot of other narrative poems in that book that I'm skipping in the interest of wanting to read new things. These are new poems that are going to become the sequel to my first book. I'm really big into architecture in poetry. I think it makes it interesting and accessible to non-poet lovers. So the architecture of this book is the Rosary, the Luminous Mysteries. This is from chapter 1 on water. The water was with God, and the water was God. We twisted Silicon Valleys to Silicon Fjords for halibut, to thrive off petrol plants. The age of oil is ending, and pandemics of population chew through food chains. If I could grow grills, I'd join an orca pod. Learn to hunt the seals despite being finless. You tell me? Anything's possible now in the hatchery tanks. We grow fish. Revive the dead with Narcan. What else shall we mechanize to protect the seed stores of Iceland from God's flood? I will learn to swim, apex predator of land and sea. I will become an Amazonian butterfly to drink tears of turtles for their minerals, crying at the pain when I stand on its back, such sensitive nerves on a hard shell. I don't believe in transformation, but if there are butterflies that need turtle tears, maybe they know about God, because it's not me or this rosary. Planes soaring overhead gash the sky, forever worshiping gravity. I refuse to fall, desperate to stand still, enough to join the forest of babble, birdsong chatters on every corner. My stone spine set, carved as a crescent moon, kneeling in soft sands of washed up gastropods, cuttlefish, ammonite, hoping the sea forgives me first when she invades. I'm going to do two more. The idea of these books, my first book, if you like this kind of poetry, is the same style, and each poem is intended to be like the bead on a rosary necklace. So you touch it, you read, meditate on the mystery. In Catholicism, the mysteries are the teachings that they want you to learn about spiritually. So the poetry is, I guess, my spiritual learning. This is from the last chapter, Transformation. We are noble gases refusing to bond with a full valence, fretting about molecular compromise, but to be covalent is to share everything. I always believed opposites attract, and together we will share one Venus shell, bow and become bloody, become the needle coaxing Oneg from ankles tautly arched over shards of glass from the television and dried roses shattered by your guitar. Shyly, you let me touch the hole in your head where you let the bullet in. While I click, click, tap back to you, good morning, little bear, how did you sleep? Delivered to bloodless fingers, never reply, but I open your texts again and again in the palm of my hands, wrapping your lifeless body in the startling phone glow, while in bed, you grow cold. It's stable, you say, because my electron was made for you, always trying to leave, but your six are sticky and wetness lives within me. I don't worry about sex, the endless touching of your negative and my positive, until Jesus walked atop us, the surface tension so strong, even the faithless floated. If you're a science geek like me, you may have picked up that that's hydrogen and oxygen. They share electrons, which I think is just beautiful and poetic. Oxygen has 6, hydrogen has 1, and each hydrogen gives 1 to make the most stable bond in our world. The last one that I'm going to read, is this one. This is called Placing It Exactly on Impact. It's number 1 from The Mystery of Kingdom, which the mysteries tell us to meditate. The kingdom of earth is my church. You are my church. That is the kingdom. So the landscape below mocks me like a jealous lover. The trees tell me, listen to the ground. You'll hear locusts molting before you see the storm. Staring so long at your own reflection in envy of her success, because I am castrated, pumped with chemicals from a rubber hose, sucking my sugar dry, making me weak. So every droplet I find goes to building the orange fruit for my child, to make her desirable, or at least as sweet as my kin. But sadly, every fruit is seedless. White veins, brittle, flesh dry and pruned, too small to grow a single seed before plopping from the branch, empty and rotting on the ground, or boxed and wrapped for a grocery store to be chewed, swallowed, the sum of my life. Every day poured towards the center, trying to beat chemical cancers to grow a single seed, but nothing grows now, and I feel weak, my roots becoming black and soggy, my fruits small and wrinkled. What bee will see me now with pale flowers? I cannot compete with the vividness of the wild ones, jiggling and swinging in the wind dance while I watch beyond the pasture, my flesh born in lab. My body is not my own. And they were right. The last walrus died in an iceless Arctic, too hungry and tired to swim in circles, until winter sighs and sinks carcasses to seabed, where vents whistle a little tune of sulfur and punishing gods. So I sing louder in prayer that these engines don't give out, that vents keep fissuring in the deep, and the birds spit up the plastic they've swallowed. Pray that this plane lands, wings intact, and I depart with courage to change the things that I can, worshiping the old ways of giant sun goddesses to whom I owe amends. Forgive me, Mama. I'm trying to change. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Sarah Cahill Marron. All right, everybody's got programs. I hope you have a program. Make sure you look at the back at all of these very generous sponsors who helped us raise a lot of money this summer. We really appreciate that. Ladies and gentlemen, our next reader, Jonathan Harrington.
Thank you, Tony, for that introduction and for inviting me out here. And thank you all for coming. My name is Jonathan Harrington. I'm reading from my brand new book, The Frozen Sea Within Us. You might recognize that title. It's a quote from the writer Franz Kafka. A book must be the axe for the frozen sea within us. This book is a selection from 6 of my previous poetry volumes, and it covers 40 years, 1983 to 2023, 40 years of published poetry. And I would also point out that the cover art is by my son, Trevor, who's a painter who lives in Brooklyn, New York. I'll start with this one called Memory, which I think some of us will be able to relate to this one. Memory. Sometimes, sipping coffee in the living room, I stand up with purpose and stride into my bedroom, then look around as if I've never seen the place before, struggling to remember why I came in here. I stand there frustrated, thinking, and then it suddenly occurs to me that I need to turn the flame down under the soup pot in the kitchen, and this new mission relieves me of the failure in the bedroom. So off I go to where was I going? Oh, yes, the kitchen, where by now I've forgotten what it is I was going to do in there. Is this just one of the dramas of aging or something more sinister? As I open the refrigerator and stare into it as if staring into the Grand Canyon, trying to remember what I'm looking for, I think about the way in which my house has become a labyrinth, or more precisely, a maze, in which the rat staggers from one dead end to the next until he has completely forgotten that, aha, yes, now I see the mozzarella. It's the cheese that he's after. This one is called Period. A simple dot at the end of a line puts an end to everything that comes before. The hurrying verbs, running, jumping, climbing, all screech to a halt at the point of a pen. The nervous adjectives trying desperately to boost the ego of an anemic noun stop short. The terms of a peace treaty end a war with a full stop, followed by signatures, and with that simple period, men cease to murder each other for the time being. This humble black dot, or blue or green, this lonely soldier standing guard at the end of every sentence, has had the final say in hundreds of masterpieces, always in last place. But what an exit, what flair, what panache. Even this poem has to be reined in somehow, like right now, period. My father died when I was pretty young, so my memories of him are not clear. Uh, and that's what this poem is about. Dad, I have almost lost you completely. Can barely remember the curve of your jaw, your nose, your gray hair beneath a cap to ward off the sun. I remember cigarette smoke, the smell of nicotine on your fingers, but I cannot rearrange your features to make sense. You are a puzzle. I have the nose, blue eyes, even the sound of your voice, but I cannot assemble them into a proper face. Sometimes coming up from the A train at Columbus Circle, hurrying to work, 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 I see you hunched in an overcoat against the wind, lighting a cigarette in the doorway of a deli on 8th Avenue. But as I get closer, you grow younger, with a haircut not of your era, brown eyes, not blue, your features already receding into someone else's face. My previous book was a rewriting of the Gospel of Matthew. Uh, I updated it and set the Gospels in the contemporary Middle East. And in the original Gospel, there were 12 apostles. In my original Gospel, there are 13. This is called the 13th apostle. No dog has ever been as blessed as me, lying beneath the table at your last meal. I licked your sandaled feet and you scratched my stomach with the strap behind your heel and fed me scraps of bread and meat. I'm not remembered in any of the books, not Mark, nor Luke, nor Matthew, not even John. I suppose they didn't think that dogs have souls, but I was there. I'd sniffed the double agent out. I could smell betrayal on Judas' feet. I tried to warn you with a bark. I think you understood, but you ignored me. And so I settled back and just enjoyed your sandals rubbing gently on my belly. Did you like that poem? Okay. This is called Blind. Old man, your eyes the color of spoiled milk. Every evening we saw you on the corner under the street light, your hand outstretched, a few coins sparkling in your upturned palm. You must have known the sound of our footsteps. For one evening as we approached, you reached out and softly put your hand on my shoulder and whispered in my ear, "Pity the blind." It's beautiful to be touched so lightly, but we turned and walked away, happy and loved. When we got back to our apartment, I could still feel your fingers perched on my collarbone like a bird. Much later, after she left me for good, I'd go back out each night to the corner where you stood. I could hear the elevated train rattling and the bang of doors as the shopkeepers locked up for the night. But you were never there. Every time I pass the corner, I wonder where you are now, old man, your eyes the color of spoiled milk. Wherever you are, have pity on me. This one, on a lighter note, is called My Place in History. When we get to a certain age, we're looking back over our lives and wondering what our place in history will be. My place in history. I find myself a little glum when I watch the History Channel to note the ages of the so-called great men of the past, like Genghis Khan, whose road to glory had already begun at 17. Napoleon Bonaparte was a general by the age of 24, and Cortez in his 30s conquered the Aztec Empire of Mexico. When I point this out to my wife, she soothes, "But men died young back then. Your best years are in front of you." Still, I think, as I sit in my recliner, remote in hand, Hawaiian shirt undone, beer belly hanging over my loosened belt, a cushion beneath my tush to soothe the hemorrhoids, aching feet propped up, eyes a ruin. It seems unlikely I'll be sacking some civilization anytime soon. This one, I was asked, this one is called Boulevard. How many nights have I strolled along this boulevard, alone, contemplative? Each globe of light from the street lamps illuminates some human drama, either sad or poignant. Lovers enclosed in an erotic embrace, drunks staring blankly at some inner vision, and the blind, like Tiresias, seeing everything. This boulevard stretches from one end of the world to the other, and you shall never traverse its length. But at times you stop at the bench littered with acorns and sit down with the woman who sits there in her own thoughts, or go into alleyways with bruised old men reeking of alcohol and pain and the drink from a communal bottle of fire, or stand on the street corner with your eyes extinguished, seeing without them, looking right through the world to its core and having some vision of where the boulevard ends. This one's called Handcuffed to the Jukebox. We've all had one of those days. It's from my first book. The first book was titled Handcuffed to the Jukebox. We've all had one of those days when nothing seems to go right. And this is sort of an exaggeration of that kind of a day. Handcuffed to the jukebox. The telephone rings. I wake up, fall out of bed, reach over with my broken arm, answer the phone. It's the mortgage company. My house has been repossessed. I have to go to their office to sign papers. So I get in my car, but I run into a bicyclist. She starts screaming, "I'll sue," as she holds her broken neck. I put her in my car. We go to the emergency room where a cop puts me under arrest. But on the way to jail, he runs into an old friend. They go to a bar for a couple beers. They take me along, handcuff me to the jukebox. The bar catches fire. The cop runs out the back door. A fireman comes in and chops the jukebox off my wrist with an axe. We run outside, but I trip and fall down a manhole, get swept up by a tide of dirty water that carries me out to sea. Two people come by in a yacht. They pull me aboard, feed me cucumber sandwiches. A storm comes up. The boat goes under. The two people drown, but I swim ashore, stop a passing taxi, and go straight home to bed. That it, Tony? Thank you very much. I have books for sale in the back.
All right. Thank you, Jonathan. Jonathan Harrington. All right. We've got a special treat now. We're going to bring up a rising eighth grader from Oceanside Middle School, Kay Burns. Come on up, Kay. All right. That's going to be great. I think that's going to be good for you height-wise. People get it.
Hi. So this poem's called Drowning. I believe I'm drowning. I try to find up, but everywhere I look is down. There are hands pulling me deeper into the water. I'm losing my breath. Am I losing my mind? I can't break free. No matter how hard I try, I'm trapped. You don't understand. I'm trapped. The kind of trapped you can't break free from. The kind of trapped no one comes back from. The kind of trapped even a slick fox can't trick. I'm stuck. I'm trapped. I'm trapped. I'm trapped. Even when I do find my way to the surface, I have nowhere to swim. How is one supposed to run when there's nowhere to go? And why? Why is it only me I see drowning? Why do all the fishermen and sailors just pass me by? Don't even take a chance to help me. Don't even bother looking in the water. I mean, how did I even get here? And what did I ever do to you? Torturing me for the enjoyment of others. They had their fun. I got cheated out of my childhood. And I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It's all flowing through my head like a melody, told to stay silent. I listened. I never got to be a kid. I grew up faster. I was the one who cared for everyone. Now I'm drowning. I was the one who healed the world. Now I'm drowning. All those people I helped, not a single one saved me. The truth is, no one cares. They never did. It's just me in this world, and now I'm sinking too. My life is ending before it even started, and this time, there's no hero to save me. It's simply the end.
Okay, Burns. All right, we are gonna enlist her over at the library, and we're gonna get her cooking even before she's in high school, and we'll have her featuring out here probably been around our 25th or 26th year. That was really great. Great job. Let's give another round of applause. Very impressed. All right, bringing up a newbie to our wonderful green here, and another Oceansider, ladies and gentlemen, Jennifer Gibaldi. All right, there you go. Make sure they're the right height.
All right, can we just get another round of applause for Kay? That takes a lot of courage, and honestly, that poem was beautiful. I enjoyed it. So I'm actually going to read two poems from a book that I just published recently in May. It's called Perfectly Imperfect. None of us are perfect. We don't do anything perfect, especially parenting. So the first one that I'm going to read is about my oldest daughter. She's 19. She has Down syndrome. She attends Oceanside High School. And this is about the day that I had her. It's called My Miracle. Although you had not officially entered the world yet, you let yourself be known. Strong, playful, a force to be reckoned with. Then you were here, sweet, perfect little round face, pudgy cheeks with the tiniest little mouth. 4 words changed our lives that day. She has Down syndrome. Then you were placed in my arms. It didn't matter that the unexpected happened, that the life I had envisioned for us, would not come to be. I took one look at you and my heart melted. We would make a new path, a different path. Sure, there would be more obstacles, but always the same outcome. Love, family, growth, lessons. You helped me to slow down and live, to take the time to see the beauty in all the small things. You have been my daily inspiration with your kindness, your determination, and your strength. Yes, our path changed the day that you were born. I got a much better one instead. This next poem is called What If? Again, in regards to parenting, sometimes we rush through the days and the tasks, and we forget to take the time to really just be in the moment. Mommy, look what I can do. They celebrate spinning on one foot without falling. Oh, that's nice, dear. Autopilot mom responses kicked in as you send your response text. Daddy, can we look at the puppies in the window? Their face lights up as they see the pet store just up ahead. Not right now, maybe later. Forcing them to pick up their pace, you grab their hand, making it so their tiny little legs have to keep up. Mommy, will you draw with me? Every marker and crayon that they own is laid out on the floor with an impressive pile of construction paper. Oh, I would love to, sweetie. Maybe after lunch. I mean, come on, the laundry's not going to fold itself. And yet, what if? What if we looked up when they called our name? If we stopped to pick the flower when they wanted, simply because it was pretty? What if we followed behind them down the walkway, arms outstretched by our sides, pretending to be airplanes flying through the sky. What if we taught them how to properly build a fort using every couch cushion and blanket we owned, explaining how we would melt if we touched the dreaded floor lava? Yes. What if indeed? All right, being that it's summer, it kind of reminded me of the summers when I was a kid. So this one is called A Kid's Summer. Long summer days spent in a haze, nowhere to be, school is done, let us be free. Sweet scent of honeysuckles in the air, riding bikes to God knows where. Looking for friends to help the time pass, ice pops from the freezer and freshly mowed grass. Hands colored green from all the cartwheels and flips. Just watch out for those high-flying kicks. Carnivals and sleepovers, the memories we'll make. Games and rides, even mom's special cake. Digging in the creek, looking for frogs. Oh, is that one? Nope, just piece of a log. Trips to the town pool, always fun way to stay cool. Getting stuck in afternoon showers brings out those puddle jumping superpowers. Just be sure to be home by the time that streetlight comes on, the universal sign that the day is now gone. Barbecue for dinner and dessert outside. Sit back and enjoy the s'mores fireside. In the distance, small green flashes start, creating a path of perfectly timed art. Warmth of the fire, eyes closed tight, enjoying the sounds of a nice summer night. All right. Ooh. So again, none of us are perfect. I certainly am not. So to end my time here this evening, I would like to read what's called A Perfect Mess, and it's about me. This is me, all of me. I am a perfect mess. I live in organized chaos. My kitchen table has piles of papers, bags, and boxes. The stuffed chicken recipe you need? Fourth or fifth paper down in the pile on the left by the stove. I cry at commercials and laugh until I snort. I get defensive when asked questions. My voice has a permanent tone of sarcasm and attitude. My outward appearance is sophisticated, classy, and feminine. My sense of humor is that of a 12-year-old boy. I have long, beautiful curls that are frizzy as heck. My smile is warm and soft with a chipped front tooth. I am a responsible adult who is just a kid at heart. I go to work every day, putting forth 100% in every task, then come home and make fart jokes. I raised a beautiful young woman who I love to tease and annoy. I love my husband with all my heart, but sometimes hold back on the affection I show. This is me, all of me. I am a perfect mess. Thank you.
Jennifer Gibaldi. All right. So a couple of things. If you're not on our email list, please see the ladies in the back or see me afterwards. We'll get you on our email list. Next week we have Linda Oper, Christine Barber, Jack Zappos, and Margaret Wall. So we have a nice lineup that's going to shout on our 17th season. So without any further ado, a great friend of the Gazebo, a former Nassau County poet laureate, and just a wonderful leader here in the poetry community in the area. Ladies and gentlemen, Gayl Teller. And she runs an amazing program, by the way, up on the North Shore someplace, you need a visa, passport, and everything to get up there.
Okay. Hi, everybody. Always great to be here. Thank you, Tony. Thank you, Kiwanis. It's a real pleasure. And I have flyers about our program, the Mid-Island Y, our 35th season. And we have features and open mics, so come join us. So my first poem is dedicated to my grandson, Joshua. He's 17 years old. The day you won the team, your game, with 5 3-pointers swishing the net, we stood, we cheered, our daybreak was lit. The day you sparked atop your sand bucket, become your throne, where your whole body fit. The vast beach had become your domain. The day you bathed inside the sink, in your pink jolly perfection. The day we said nothing, just spontaneously danced. Ice cream cones dripping in our bonded hands. And you took me into your spider monkey swing. The day I couldn't keep up with our fast walking kin. When you trotted back to validate my pace. And you turned my lonely dark to resounding grace. Today, you lay there, a hospital cap on your head, weathered by life's second big break. The first from first love's last words. I'm no longer attracted to you, she said. Today, something inside me broke as you stretched out in your resilient smile, while I still got to tickle your funny bone with the rod and 9 screws implanted in your leg. As I called you Dr. Tickles, as in our old episodes, and asked why you can't just wrestle like a girl, be catty. No bones about it. Life breaks us all. Some say in the end, it's our scars that hold us together. I wonder, will you make the bells in the airport ring? Dear Joshua, you make all my bells ring. The day you reach my age, when we come to know each other by our scars, may you find healing is all. May you grow whole in your life. Mike and I had the privilege of watching a glass blower in Santa Fe. If you haven't been to Santa Fe, put it on your bucket list. The art there is awesome. But this glass blower, clearly this was his poetry, making a gorgeous vase by putting scraps of glass at the end of a blowpipe. The glass blower, Santa Fe. Oh, I should tell you that he calls one of the ovens, he puts the glass in and twists around the glory hole. And to me, that's a found image, the glory hole. Couldn't resist that. The glass blower, Santa Fe. He begins with a blob from scraps, fixed to molten in his primary furnace. A blob he inflates with his breath through his blowpipe, taking most of his length, and he keeps spinning it in his knowing hands, shaping it in their naked touch, rotating, working the molten scraps to wholeness in many minute steps of subconscious resonance to the glory hole where he keeps his creation hot and timely removes as embedded hues spread out through his liquid, light, luminous bubble. His discerning eye commands unwavering respect for the spirit of the glass, collaborating with fire in his calloused, caressing hands as he smooths his fondling with a water-soaked rag, and sparks like fireflies magic rise and surround him with what he's come to know in the pain that flies inside creation's crucible as one orange ember settles on his bare arm and one leg stays wrapped in a black bandage while he keeps spinning the ever-changing shape and blows off the scorching fleck like lint and rolls out what he's delicately composing on a thick flat sheet of steel to shape it just so. Despite his burns, there is healing in his rapt attention. It captivates, it dilates within a timeless allure, a catching inner glow from a reimagined ancient art, once so revered in the Roman Empire. These craftsmen were forbidden to travel, and we must not break his visionary spell. No words, no flashlight photos, as he swings it, takes precise short puffs to enter its skin and respins it all in the glory hole halo. Just so, back and forth, smoothing and firing his visions and revisions, his focus so whole in a broken world as he adds a new blob to overlay the end and shears off unwanted masses to shape a flat bottom, a solid thematic ground for his work to stand on, and tweezes out its mouth to speak its beauty. Something inside me has been compelled and begins to comprehend his quiet need to listen to the glass, because the vase to be is singing and will keep on singing to him until he accepts its song and releases it to the annealer, where he slowly lets his creation cool and then must keep away from it for days to keep it from shattering apart with his touch. I see his poetic art, his shape from scraps is his surest haven from his own inconsequence, his breathing's joy. I think we all have special places. And one of my most special places is this patch of soil in front of my house. And this poem takes place at the end of winter. Spring is just itching to begin in me, and I'm just itching to get out there to my patch of soil, my patch of place. It seems asleep under the huge dark winter snow, a duvet cover, where only the ears of a ceramic fawn poke through. But I know that quivering rim of spring. I can feel it beginning again, as it has again and again since I was young. Here, where I got down on both knees on this parallelogram of dirt and dug and dug and shaped a meandering creek bed I filled with 40 pounds of cerulean green and opalescent gravel to speak their colors like water, and circled 50 pounds of white marble chips around wind-waved topsoil flower arenas, and wove a bridge with silk floral wreaths across the creek, and planted where flying wings are lit with mates in vivacious voices. For 40 years, it's been my patch of place, It's calling its yearning promise to me, a drawing ache to get me out there again in the shivering springtime, under our time's huge dark, in high relief with the trilling birds, their warbling, unaware of the wretched things humans are doing to each other in tragic futility. But I will not deny this perennial sap rising in me, the joy ignited by each bowlby plant to outgrow me, the glorious dinner plate dahlias, the Babylonian red, the blackberry ripple, the cactus and caprose decoratives. I even foresee sunset-throated hibiscuses, twining pastel mandevilleas with the peony's pizzazz and astilbe's exuberant feathers, in faithful return with the bebopping robins in song, clarifying my own as I have sworn allegiance in sore muscles, dirty nails, exhaustion's bliss, fired up in anticipation of whopper begonia red spreads, the purple African lily's secure sense of self, the mica mirrors catching neighborly passersby, looking in, reflecting on themselves. The living roots in my patch of place are bound by brown hairs blown from my son before he went gray, a claw from Twinkle, our outdoor cat, a button from my dad, shaking with Parkinson's as he bent in to smell the sweetest Stilby scent, a tuft of fur from Rocky the raccoon, who cleans up the feral cat bowl at night, a berry chestnut from Sammy the squirrel, who lives in our eaves with her babies, the lost locket our neighbor's boy gave his sweetheart, the baby tooth a fairy dropped en route, vanishing from our grandson's pillow, and dissolved crumbs from the hunk of cookie one little boy broke off from his to offer to another, all folded in with the howl of the wind, the tingle of ice cream bells, the dove's morning coo, all folded in to the vast moor in the ground for some new mansion's foundation years from now, when my patch of place will have been, with all its changes, large as life, where I have learned there is goodness in this world. I believe it. I've seen it. I smell it in this soil. I feel it beginning again, the power of life quivering in me, in my hands, to be in the earth, my nose in the air, the oneness of my body in their link. As I kneel and think, I'm so glad to be where my love looms to light. Thank you.
All right, Gayl Teller. So let's hear it for all 5 of our poets tonight. I want to thank everybody for coming out. All right, so the winner of $25 tonight is Rita Monte. Okay. The other 4, you're not winning anything this week, but maybe you'll win the big pot next week. And that's another Rita Monte. You got 2. Oh my goodness. Munchkin. Fran Bacon. And Nancy Baxter. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for coming out. Hopefully we'll get the lights turned on a little bit earlier next week for our last week. Hope you can join us as we end our 17th season. Thank you, everybody.